What's happening? What's going on, YouTube?
The Mechanics.
Okay, so first things first, checking in. As y'all can see, Supreme flashlight from Pelican. Got me one. Great purchase, actually. It wasn't like the pocket knife that I bought or any other obsessed item that I bought. Flashlight's actually good. Great purchase. I use it every day. So moving on, quick rundown of the whole last week of the 240. Literally 240, I think I have the 240 curse, which is you fix one thing, 10 other things break. Let me tell you why. So I'm going to try to give you guys the most accurate rundown description of last week as possible. So I think it started off with Sunday. Sunday, I was out driving and my car started idling super high. After we installed the relay, me and Forrest, my car started, it drove fine, and then it started idling high around 2K. Got to a spot, popped the hood, tried to figure out what the issue was. Come to find out, my TPS sensor fell off, completely fell off. This is the old throttle body that was on there, well, the throttle body at the time that was on there. Fell off, was hanging on just literally by the connector right here. So I ended up zip tying it on to get me home that night. As well as my brake lights weren't working that night. So this is Sunday night, TPS sensor falls off and brake lights stop working. Okay. Oh, mind you, I had a terrible misfire. Cylinder 4 was giving me a terrible misfire. So TPS sensor, misfire, no brake lights. Okay, Monday comes around, I get underneath the car and I diagnose the brake light switch was my issue. It had power, the little button was stuck inside of the switch, so it wasn't coming back out. So I replaced that on Monday. As well as I diagnosed my misfiring issue. I checked the spark plug. The spark plug has spark. I then went to take off the connector to injector 4 to see if it was actually firing and not just fouling up my plugs. Disconnect the plug while it's running. It misfired even harder. So I knew that my issue lied somewhere in between my injectors and the cylinder. Come to find out, this is the rail that came off. I don't know if you guys could see. Bad injector, bad injector, bad injector, and bad injector. Now, the engine that I bought from Yuma, the engine that's in there right now, actually had the injectors rebuilt recently, so I went ahead and threw that fuel rail on, fixed that problem. So now I have fixed the brake light switch, I fixed, and the fuel misfiring I also fixed. So I fixed those two things on Monday, as well as the throttle body. I also replaced the throttle body. So on Monday, I replaced the fuel rail, fixed that issue. I replaced the throttle body, fixed that issue. And I also replaced and fixed my brake light switch. Okay, everything should be good, right? Wrong. So I take off Monday to go hang out with the homie. He tells me that my parking lights are on, or my reverse lights are on. I ask him, is my brake lights on? Are my brake lights working? He said, yeah. I said, that's all I care about. Cool. Head to a meet, night falls, and then I go to turn on my headlights, and I realize that only one of my headlights is working. So not only is my reverse lights on, but now my driver's side headlight doesn't work. So I pull the fuse for the reverse lights and put that fuse into my headlights, so that eliminates the reverse lights coming on. Now I have a headlight. Start driving, go down the road a little bit, headlight goes off. So I grab another fuse, put the fuse in, headlight goes off again. So now I'm completely lost as to why my headlight keeps going out. Later that night, I just try to think about what could be happening and why that could be happening. And then I realized that the wire loom that was previously tucked by the previous owner above my wheel weld had came down just a little bit, rubbed on the tire, and I rubbed through a few of the wires. No need to fear, because the wire in front and behind of the exposed area is the same color, so all you have to do is connect those two or resolder where it is exposed. So the next day, solder, shrink wrap, everything, boom, put all the little jazzes, hang it up, hem them up, bang it up, wire's good. Fix the headlight situation. Headlights work perfectly. Now my brake lights don't work. End up rewiring my brake lights, so now my brake lights work. And I also put my passenger door on. I don't know if some of you guys noticed, but I had a big dent in the passenger door. I got a replacement passenger door that has no body damage on it. When I got the car, I've just been procrastinating Otis. Have not put it on until this week, so I have put it on. But now my passenger window does not roll down, and I have no idea why. So with that being said, you guys are pretty much caught up. Everything works now, no misfire. The car's been running great for the last 4 days. I could not be more happy with how it's running right now. So like I said, car is running, so now we can move forward and make it look a little bit better. So that's what I plan on doing today. So with this being said, we're gonna move on and go to the first part of the video, or the project for today, which is fog lights. So I'm putting fog lights in my front bumper. The bumper that I have is an aftermarket bumper. It doesn't come with fog lights, OEM. These aren't OEM lights, and they're gonna go in front of an air duct. Now before you haters starts, oh, you're blocking the airflow that's supposed to go to your wheels and your brakes. To be honest with you, I'm a bitch if I ever get into a situation where I'm at a drift event and I'm actually drifting. Well, guess what? I'm probably taking the bumper off anyways because I don't want to break it, so that eliminates that problem. So I'm gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoy. This is what we're working with right here. This is what I thought was just an amber LED pod. Turns out to be just a LED pod. So the brand is Rigid Industries. That's what I have on my Acura. I love it. Hasn't faded on me yet. So this is what I'm going to be using for my fog lights. They're going to be going in here like so. Maybe a little bit further back. Got two of them, connectors for quick release. And of course, I lost my hardware, but no need to fear. My riv nuts are near. So basically what we're gonna do, come to the back, figure out where I'm mounting it, drill a small hole, follow up with the bigger one, put your riv nut in there, and then that is going to give me my mounting for this. And I might go back and reinforce this later. We'll see how sturdy this guy is. It seems pretty solid, so hopefully it holds up. I'm gonna get cracking on that right now. All right, so hole is cut out. What we got here is our riv nut. Put them in. Now, as you can see up top here, the crush fitting, it's in there. That is a visual of what happens to the riv nut on the reverse side. So to get this guy mounted up, basically put your hardware inside. That guy is in there. That's basically what we're looking at. Amber lights. I don't have these yet, but I plan on getting those. But basically this is what we're looking at. Now let me do the other side and get you back on. Still got airflow, do what it needs to do. I'm more than happy with how these look. So Now it's on to wiring. So as stated previously, I installed this switch panel. Here's my fuse box inside my glove box for the fuses. That's not supposed to be there. Like I was saying previously, this switch right here is for that fuel pump. That's the only thing that I have right now wired up. I don't have this yet because if it ain't broke, don't break it. And push start is also not wired up. I haven't got around to it, but this one I'm going to use for the fog lights, and I'm yet to decide on what I'm going to use this one for, but this one right here is going to be for the fog lights. So I got to take all this out, which is 4 riv nuts right here, 4 little Allen heads. This whole switch panel comes out, and right now the only thing that's wired up is my fuel. So let me go ahead and break this out. Go ahead and find a fuse for this guy. Oh, there's one in there. Find a fuse for this guy and get some wire laid out, as well as get my soldering iron hot and go find a relay. So I found my relay. This is the relay that I'm going to use. This is your AutoZone Bosch 4-prong relay. You can get a 5-prong, but I'm using a 4-prong, and this is just a little harness that comes with it. I originally had that plugged into right here because there's a DIY to put a relay right here to give this as many volts as possible or enough amperage to kick on. I thought that was one of my problems with my car. Turns out it wasn't, so I pulled that back out. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is unplug your battery. So right now I have a fuse right here, which is my 12 volt. Then I got a fuse, and from the fuse, I got the switch. So I got 12 volt to the switch right now. And then basically you switch it on, and that continues the flow. So now I have a wire out. The wire out is going to go to my relay in my engine bay. So this wire right here is what's going to power my relay, and this is coming from the switch. This is a 12 volt source coming from the switch. Do not get this confused with the actual trigger. The key on the signal, this is the 12 volt source. Now, being that I took out my EGI pump fuse, or relay, I'm sorry, this fuse is no longer in op. But if this side right here is key on 12 volt source, and then this is in op, this will continue the flow of power with the fuse. So what I'm going to do is use this as my 12 volt source, and this is what's going to turn on the relay or energize the relay. Key on, ignition on, and then this wire right here, which is a 12 volt, is what's going to give the relay the power it needs to turn on. So here we have my 12 volt battery source coming to my white wire, and my key on, ignition on source coming, or my trigger coming to my relay. This is the ground that it's grounded to, so you know that's self-explanatory. And this right here is going to be the power out to each light. So what you're going to do is you're going to run either 2 wires off of this one to your lights, or you can run 1 wire and then jump them like that, and then that's series, and then this is parallel, or vice versa. I can't remember. Now I know some of you guys are saying, why would you have a trigger that is from your fuel pump that's key on, ignition on, and then have this when this is supposed to be always hot, which this is not because I have a switch, and then this is not always hot because this has to be key on, ignition on. Well, quite frankly, I want my fog lights only to work, and some of my other stuff only when the key is on, ignition on, that's it. Unlike the headlights where you can turn on at any given point, the key has to be on and the ignition has to be on for my fog lights to work. If I wanted to switch that up to where they could work at any time, all I have to do is give this wire right here a 12 volt constant source. So basically take this, put this right here, boom, they'll come on anytime I want them to. As long as I flip this switch, this will be my trigger, and then this will be my constant. But right now this is my constant with the trigger, and then this is my switch. Easy. Okay, so just about done. As you can see, for the harness itself, this is my ground. That is grounded through the chassis. All I need to do is zip tie these up. This is my power going to the fog light right here, to the wire harness, to the connector so I can disconnect it. And this is the guy coming out. Solder, shrink wrap, boom, make them all look good. Tape some stuff off temporarily until I have absolutely everything wired up. Key on, ignition on, switch. Here we go. As you guys can see, off the bumper of the Integra. Boom, 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 boom. So this is what it looks like. So basically that's how you wire, actually that's how you wire any kind of accessory lights. You can do fog lights like this. That's how my fog lights are wired, or used to be wired in both of my coupes. My fog lights are wired the right way, the correct way in my Integra because that's how they come. They're integrated into the headlight, so the headlight connector itself is how the fog light is wired. My light bar is supposed to be wired like this, and it's still not wired like this. But like I said, these are my fog lights. They are also light bar, light pods, LED pods. So you can do that. If you completely rip out the harness for your headlights, you can do it that way. Interior lights, if you want to have puddle lights, you can do that too. This is basically how you're going to run any of your accessory lights the correct way-ish, because I have two different triggers. So basically, if I turn the key off, I don't get no power to the fog lights. If I turn it on, personal preference, that's just how I want it. I don't want to be able to run my fog lights with the key off. I would be too tempted to try to flex on people and be parked with my fog lights on and then my battery dies. So this is kind of like a, hey, turn your key off, you can't have your fog lights there, boom, sucker. Yeah, thought you was gonna flex on everybody, nah. So, personal preference on how I wanted my wired up. Like I said, all I had to do is switch that one yellow wire to a 12 volt constant on, and then pretty much all I need to use is a switch as my trigger. Yeah, so time to him up, make them look a little bit decent. This is gonna be temporarily wired up or temporarily loomed up until I actually have like my corner lights and my my side markers wired up and everything like that. So then I have a general idea of what gets loomed in each loom, so I don't loom this up, make it look all permanent, and then have to take that back out because I'm missing two of my lights that I need. Other than that, if you guys need any of this stuff done, hit me up. I do side work from time to time, so just hit me up. Fog lights, if you buy fog lights and they're just like regular fog lights and they don't say, you know, wire harness, let me know. Holla at me. I will wire them joints up for you, okay? Anything you guys see, I pretty much do, or I can do on the side. If you guys seen like the ITR front end conversion, I did do that. So yeah, hit me up. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more content. Tell me what you guys think. And with that being said, peace, I'm gone.
The Mechanics.